All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're back here at the London Bridge Group, Raymond Gibson and Lavelle Bridges, here with another tax topic Q&A session. And today we really wanted to talk about the PPP loans and a couple other special topics that we actually that just came out, and we want to give to you guys for the knowledge, and so you can use and basically get yourself some funding for your small business.
Absolutely. So, as Raymond said, we're going to go over PPP loans and some of the stuff that I've seen and not seen, and some of the things that they're asking for, and I guess how to apply, and most importantly, how to be approved, and again, how to have the debt forgiven. So basically, to apply, again, you come to London Bridge Group, and we'll look at your paperwork, review everything that you bring us, and see what you're eligible for, and we can, pretty much start there. As far as getting approved and all of that, once we see what the numbers look like, the approval process is not fast in certain instances, but in general, we pretty much get them done rather quickly. As far as the repayment, as I said in previous videos and all of that, you must comply with the requirements of SBA to be considered for debt forgiveness. So you definitely want to put that in. And based on some of the things that I've seen now, again, that people are receiving funds, again, disbursements and all of that, the main thing is the payroll portion, which is 75% of the full disbursement that you receive. So as the scenario I gave, I want to say yesterday, was $20,000 disbursement, 75% of that was $15,000, and you have 8 weeks, which is 2 months roughly, to have put that money through payroll.
Gotcha.
So if you meet that requirement within the 8 weeks, or say the 2 months, just basically split it up as I did yesterday. I think we came up with $7,500 per month, and if you're paid semi-monthly, as most small businesses are, then you have $3,750, twice a month.
Right.
So you write you basically pay yourself, the money and all of that, and you document it with either certified funds or checks, which I found out yesterday some people had never seen and had not used, or whatever, younger generations. So what I was also saying is that they were not good, or it's not wise to try to go through the automated systems that we're using nowadays, the PayPals, the Cash Apps, and things like that, because I don't know that that's going to be accepted, because traditional business still is a paycheck or paycheck stuff, things like that, right, even as independent contractors. So
the IRS is a little behind the curve when it comes to technology.
Very much so. So those are kind of more, us older guys or whatever. So that's what we know will be accepted. We're not certain that the Zelle and things like that are going to be accepted. So that's pretty much the extent of it or whatever. Another thing, of course, is apply as quickly as possible, because again, these funds are not unlimited. So, I'm not even sure what the amount, that is what the remaining amount is, but it's not unlimited.
100%. And that right there for everybody is a high overview. Obviously, the Lavelle's you've been in the trenches. Yeah. This whole time that this, the relief program has been out, the first round, second round, and we're coming up on a possible third round,
right?
Correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a high overview. So hopefully, you guys that are thinking about the money or wondering if you are eligible for the money, that's something that you could kind of, take with you and kind of apply it to yourself to, basically make that leap of faith and make that step to reaching out to us and basically securing those funds. But going, into in depth, a little personal. I got a couple of questions here for you.
Absolutely.
So right off the cuff. So this is the first question for you, and this is for kind of, I want you to keep in mind, like, obviously everybody's affected by this.
Sure.
People that that have an LLC or that are incorporated, they have a business, and maybe they say, I don't have 500 employees. I'm just myself. You know what I mean? So right. They maybe think, just they're not eligible for the funds. So first question: who can receive this money, the PPP loan, or who can apply for this money? What is it for? Who can get access to it? And is it worth the hassle of them? Like I said, maybe it's just a sole proprietor, and they they don't have all their financials or quarterly reports. They don't have P&Ls for days.
Right.
What is it worth the hassle for them going into those financial records and maybe calling you up during this hardship when this money's available?
Right. So who is available? Pretty much everyone who you said: independent contractors, people who are 1099, people who are sole proprietor, have small businesses, which these all under small businesses. Also LLCs. And bear in mind, we have sole member LLCs, meaning an individual is an LLC all by him or herself. And then we have partnership LLCs as well. So, but both of those are eligible. Now, also keep in mind the requirements, the paperwork that we provide or that they need to provide to, say, SBA and PPPs and all of that are different paperwork, because sole member LLCs, they're not going to have quarterly returns, 941s, things like that. They're not going to have those. When your partnership returns or your LLCs that are partnerships, those will have those. So you want to make sure that you have the proper paperwork. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. And they have relaxed some of the guidelines to the extent to where they want what they want. But if you provide themselves, some of the stuff or whatever, your chances are pretty good that you'll still get something or whatever. They may reduce the amount that you were eligible to get. But at the end of the day, again, if you're getting $5,000 and again it's able to be forgiven, or at 5,001%, and the payment is deferred for 6 months, which means you don't have a payment for until November, I think it's still a good deal. So I think I've answered 2 of your 7-part question, but the other parts of whatever, as far as is it worth it, I think so. Is it worth it to, again, go in the bank, as I said yesterday, get you some checks and mail out, or say write out and prepare checks for yourself to pay yourself? Yes, I think all of those things are worth it. And I think it's worth it to at least look at numbers and see what you have to, or get with us or someone to see if it's, if you're eligible. And, for the most part, you probably are, and again, we'll look at it and we'll tell you if you're eligible, great, you're eligible, and the amount that you should be eligible for. Right. If you're not eligible, well, then you're not eligible, and,
at least you did your due diligence.
Yeah, at least you tried. I guess my biggest take of what I've seen is we just aren't even applying. It's not, we just don't have people who are even applying. So that's kind of the concern.
And you've had a bulk of people. But you're also saying the people that could be applying are not. That's what you're getting at.
Absolutely.
So my other question that leads me into my second one I wanted to ask you. So what is the big misconception about the available PPP loan for business owners or for 1099ers?
Well, for the most part, some of the things that I think that are basic that we have not used for business, because again, a lot of us have this tendency to want to be what we call UTT, or under the table. We don't have an EIN number. We don't have a business trade name. We don't have a business bank account. We just don't have any of it. And if you don't have any of those things, you probably are not going to get approved, or you will probably get approved for a lower or a lesser amount, because you just don't have the proper documentation that they want to see. That being said, the SBA has made this not impossible. They've made it a lot better than what has ever been in the past to even qualify for an SBA loan. So the misconception, I think, is that I won't qualify. And if you have none of those things, you're probably right. You will not qualify, or you won't qualify for a lot. So you have to gauge whether it's worth it to get, say, 3, 4, 5,000, or whether it's, I don't want to bother with it and all of that. But any help to me is always better than no help. So I would say, again, if you're in the thousands, it should be worth it to get it. But there's also a time to acknowledge, or there's also time to keep in mind that we need to start getting these things. If we haven't learned anything else through these months, and what's crazy is through these months, I've told certain businesses, certain people, go out and get your EIN number, come in and let us prepare one for you, let us set you up with a basic sole proprietorship business at minimal cost. And let me think about it, or let me do it, or I'll do it myself, or I'm going to go to LegalZoom, or somewhere else and pay a ton of money when they didn't have to, or it's not done properly, or then they're into someone's abyss of an email site or say website to try to get information on what they were set up with by the company. So now they can't provide me what I need, and we can't just haphazardly continue to ask for EIN numbers from the IRS, because it doesn't work that way.
100%. And I kind of just had like a full circle moment. I remember we've obviously been together for a little bit of time now,
right?
At least ever since the Tax Cut Job Acts have been into effect,
right?
And we've been saying that it pays to be in business. It pays to be in business, whether it's the revenue that you're receiving, the profit, but also the tax benefits as well.
Right.
And the biggest thing that happened with that whole proposal and everything that went through was the fact that businesses got cut down to 21%, right? 22% on the tax rate. And then now, guess what? Businesses are also, if you had that set up back in the day, you also got a business loan available for you as well.
Right.
So it definitely pays to have all that information together, I would say.
Absolutely. And again, having a business or having your gross income on the table does not mean you're going to pay more taxes. It doesn't mean that you're going to go into this big tax. You're going to have this big tax deficit or this big tax debt at the end of the year, that you have all these taxes that you have to pay that you would not have had to pay had you just kept it under the table.
Right.
Because again, it depends, but in general, it's, if that were the case, a lot of people, they make a whole lot more money than you and I that have businesses that are doing well. They're not paying a whole lot of taxes. And again, with that 21% tax cut for the major corporations or whatever, these are huge benefits to a business. It's an enormous benefit. So it gives you write-off that you can no longer take, because as an employee, you can no longer take employee business expenses. So if you're in the same line of work with your side business and the same line of work with your employee business, you can basically take what you are not eligible to deduct from your employment business as just your cell phone. And with your side business, that's your method of communication, then we can deduct a portion of that.
Exactly, 100%.
So,
and then we can always go into that further into detail for those that are looking, for that type of help when it comes to filing. But wrapping up, my third question around PPP loan, and then if I miss anything that you want to, let everybody know, definitely, chime in. And we've seen your posts on Facebook as far as like the people that you've been able to help,
right,
and the funds that they've received, and it's definitely very helpful and beneficial.
Right.
So you're definitely doing that part. But just from your take, somebody that's in the trenches and on the front line, what has been the experience of the clients? Is it a hard process? How do you guide them through it, as far as making sure that they have what they're expecting?
Okay. Is it a hard process? No, it's not a hard process. Each process is different because, of course, each business and business structure and each client is different. So those that have their ducks in a row, everything in order, the process is a little bit easier. And quite frankly, the responses from the investors come back faster. So in that regard, yes, they come back pretty fast. And even since we started this, I've seen that the movement is actually quicker as far as from, say, beginning to getting funds dispersed versus when we started. And now they're even opening up to where you can possibly speak to people, which for the first couple of months, there was none of that. You submitted it, it went to wherever it went to, and you sit back and waited and saw if you would hear anything, and saw the amount that you were going to get or not going to get. That's kind of how it was. Now we sort of get a heads up as to, this is the amount that you qualify for, and you'll get you get the stuff in writing. Then they'll request your documentation, and then you provide it, and then if it matches with what you put on your application, then they get ready to disperse funds or whatever. So they've asked for minimal things. They may ask for front and back of your driver's license. They want a business bank statement, and preferably your business bank statement shows activity. Preferably it shows movement. You are in business, so there should be deposits, there should be withdrawals. Your business account shouldn't just stay stagnant for months and months on end. So that will definitely impact what they will give you or what they will not give you because of that business bank statement also. But in that regard, those are the things that kind of slow the process, or have them request more from what I've seen versus the ones that just go straight through. Because we've gotten them done in, say, 48, 72 hours. We've got them done in 3-4 weeks. So again, it really depends on the client, and also the people on the other end. We don't know who we're getting or who they're being assigned to, but I'm sure they're familiarizing themselves more with doing this as well, because everybody on that other side that initially was not into lending or finance or any of that, because they just put a pool of people together to get these things done. So they ask for stuff, and they may ask for it a second time, a third time, a fourth time, or they may ask for stuff that you were not even required to send in. But instead of going back and forth with what you needed, you send them what it is that they requested, or I send them what it is that they requested, and push it on down the road and get it to funding, which is where we come in. We want to get it funded as quickly as possible.
100%. And I think a good part to take from that is, like you said, everybody that has those ducks in the rows, as far as what they're asking for, if you think that you may have some of that available, reach out, right?
Absolutely.
So those are my 3 questions. I just wanted to end it off with something we were talking about off camera, and something that's a little bit newer. And I want you to give basically everybody some information on, and this could vary state to state, but in Arizona, we also have a couple of grants that just came available: the micro business loan, the micro business grant, and then also this the Phoenix City relief grant as well. If you